Racial and Ethnic Inequality by Emily Navarra, Professor Woodward's class, fall semester 2017, Sociology. First off, I'd like to start by explaining why I picked race and inequalities as my topic. Personally, I believe that we don't talk about this issue enough in our everyday lives, and a lot of people are not properly educated on the difference between race and ethnicity, and I'd like to just educate myself a little bit more as well as you guys. First off, let's begin by explaining the difference between a racial group and an ethnic group. What's the difference between race and ethnicity? First off, race is not a meaningful way of differentiating people. It is socially constructed. A racial group is a group of people that is set apart from others because of their physical differences, such as skin color or hair color. A ethnic group, on the other hand, is a group of people that is set apart from others primarily because of its national origin or distinctive cultural patterns. Now, there's also something called a racial formation, and sociologists have given this term the definition of a process in which racial categories are created, destroyed, etc. So next we're going to talk about the difference between prejudice and discrimination. Prejudice, first off, is the actual negative attitude towards an entire category of people as a whole. And under prejudice, we also have ethnocentrism, and essentially that's saying that my culture is better than your culture. Next, we have racism, which is the belief that one's race is supreme and that others are innately inferior, meaning that they're born that way, that's just the way things are. Then we have discrimination, and prejudice usually leads to discrimination, which is actually defined as the denial of opportunities based on some type of arbitrary bias or some type of a random bias that you have against somebody. Then there's institutional discrimination, which is the denial of opportunities and equal rights that result from operations of a society. Next, we're going to talk about relations among racial and ethnic groups. We're going to begin with the most extreme and work our way down to the least extreme of the five. Genocide is the most extreme on our list, and it is defined as wiping out a whole entire race. Next, we have amalgamation, which is defined as combining to form a whole new group. Unlike amalgamation, then there is assimilation, which is becoming part of a new group instead of combining to form a new one. Segregation is the physical separation of groups. And then finally, we have pluralism, which is respect among various groups in a society for one another's culture. So, what now? What are we going to do with all of this information about racial and ethnic groups? Personally, I believe that for there to be any inequality based on a socially constructed view, it just doesn't make sense in my head. It's pretty arbitrary and overall silly. Deep down, we're all the same underneath. We all have the same things that make us tick, and we're all human. So for us to put energy into prejudice and discrimination, it just doesn't make sense. We all live in the same place, and we should all have the same goal to take care of our home, our earth, to take care of one another. In the end, if we don't start putting forth efforts and power to making sure that our home is around for as long as we are, we're going to regret looking back all of this time that we spent on inequalities and prejudice and discrimination. We're going to regret it.